Hey everybody, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2018 January kits for this. And my theme for this layout is love and hearts, which is easy for me because I love hearts and I love love. So I picked out some little embellishments from Crate Paper and Pink Fresh Studio from the kits to get started with, along with this paper. This is from Crate Paper Main Squeeze, and it's the specialty paper that you can get in the paper kit. And I pulled out some Project Life cards. I'm missing one. There it is. It's this tic-tac-toe one. And I was inspired by that tic-tac-toe card to sort of create a larger tic-tac-toe type of design on this background. And my background paper is one of the light pink cardstock from the cardstock kit. I think it's called Tutu Pink. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is use this little square piece of paper and trace it right in the middle of my background, and then use my ruler to create the rest of the lines. And I'm just using a pencil here. I went over the background with gesso first so that could be down, and it just kind of toughens up the cardstock and gives me a little bit more of a white space to work with. Now at first I thought I wanted to use this card, so I'm going to cut the shape of it out, which is a heart. I wound up not even using it because my color scheme changes. Now I pulled out the color kit, and these are the two Distress Oxides that we get this month in the color kit, Picked Raspberry and Spiced Marmalade. And I'm just using my little ink blending tool to kind of smudge right onto the paper. And when you splatter these with water, it is the coolest thing. I'll have to show you as I go here. But I'm just blending. I wanted some orangey, some pinks. I'm going to add some reds later. I just wanted this to be nice and bright and look like a Valentine's type of layout. I don't even have my pictures yet. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know how many I'm going to use. I just know that I wanted to get messy on this background. And so I'm kind of using the ink with the blending tool, and then I'm stamping it down onto some plastic, adding some water, and then smushing it down. A lot of this is going to be covered up with embellishments in each of those little quadrants. So I like for all of my watercolor and mixed media things to kind of pop out from behind everything and underneath everything. And so I'm just kind of having fun here, using some other shimmers from our stash, or not from our stash, from our previous kits. Now this is a red color. It's from my stash. That one's not from a kit. It's a colorings, and it's called My Bleeding Heart. But I did want to add a little bit of red to the background since it is Valentine's. And of course, my voice is all froggy. I'm doing this voiceover in the morning, so I apologize. Hopefully, I won't have to start coughing. But check out what happens when you splatter water on top of the oxides. It kind of bleaches out some of the color, and you're left with these awesome little water spots. It's so cool. You can't mess that up. It's the neatest thing. I love it. It's like magic. So I'm adding some more color with the splatters with my brush. I'm just watering down the ink and splattering it, adding some more shimmers. I believe that was Vibes Sweetheart. We got that in a color kit a few months ago. And I also used a spritz called Ruby. We got that in a color kit. And I was just having too much fun. I couldn't stop. I had to keep going and smudging and splattering because this is addicting. You want to cover your entire background with these oxides. They're so cool. So yeah, watch. I just splatter a little bit of water, and then instantly it kind of takes up some of the color, and it looks so neat. Love that. I didn't want to add too much red because I know I've said this before, and I've heard a lot of people say this, that, you know, too much red splatter, it just reminds me of blood, and I don't want my page to look bloody. But the good thing about the red here is when it dries, it's a soft red. It's not like a deep blood red. And so you still get the idea of a really deep reddish pink without it being creepy, if you know what I mean. And I don't use red ink a lot just because I'm not a red person, so to speak. But okay, everything is dry. And I did some tic-tac-toe stitching. That's black thread just straight through. Look at the background. Look how cool that looks. So neat. I love that. Okay, so now I picked out my pictures. Check these out. Okay, this was my husband's birthday last year, and It was kind of windy outside, but you know me, we're scrapbookers and we have to take pictures, especially if it's a birthday. So we went outside and we were sitting on a bench because our reservations, we were a little bit early. And well, I said, we have to go take some pictures. And of course, he's like, okay. But he's always a good sport. Well, the wind was blowing 90 miles an hour. And so my hair, that's what my hair is doing. And it's completely blown back. You can't even tell that I had fixed it. And it was just funny. And so we started making funny faces and smiling. And turned out to be my favorite pictures of the day because, you know, we're crazy and goofy. And so all I'm going to do here, I play around with the picture placement here. I'm going to wind up moving those. But I'm just sort of trying to push around some of the embellishments. I'm punching out some hearts from some of the pattern paper. That white with the black hearts, that's one of the exclusive papers. And then the rest of this is some of the crepe paper main squeeze ephemera. And I'm going to cut up this Love You piece. It has a bunch of gold glitter on it, but it was just too much for me. It was too thick and too big. So I'm just going to hack it up and make it a little bit sparkly. And those little hearts at the top are from Pink Fresh Studio, and they're layered. They're gold foil underneath with colored vellum on top and then stitched in the middle. I'm going to incorporate those. And these are really cool. These are shiny gold little hearts from crepe paper. And I decided to change the pictures to where it looks like a diagonal tic-tac-toe. And then I decide that I really want to add another color. And so I go with, surprise, aqua or turquoise, whatever color you want to call that. And I didn't do any aqua or turquoise on the background, but I like the way it looks as an accent color, I guess you could say. These are the Vicky Bouton watercolor stickers, and I'm just using the Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide. We got that in a color kit in November. And I'm just going to color in a couple of hearts for some extra pops of aqua. And I'm going to use a little bit of it down in this part. I really didn't want to cover up this background. I wanted to just leave it and not add anything because it's so pretty. But you're going to be able to see it a lot still. Now, the fun thing about a grid type of design or a layout like this is you can treat each little square as its own individual piece. And so, you know, I've got 3 that are taken up with pictures, and so there's not a lot left to do there. But the rest of the squares are fair game, and I can add a big heart, I can add small hearts, you can add title, you can add anything. And so you can kind of treat each square like its own little mini layout. And that's the fun thing I think about grid designs is it kind of dictates where you can put things, and it helps you kind of put things together a little bit quicker. So even though this layout took me forever, it seems, because that's just how I am, I can never scrap anything in a hurry. It takes me sometimes 3 days to finish something. Not 3 days straight, but I have to scrap in spurts just because of our schedule and the kids and things. But yeah, this one took me longer than I thought, even though I had the grid design. I'm just too picky. I'm very picky about embellishments and what I want to put where. And you can see here that I keep changing my mind where I want the pictures. I want to make sure my pictures are, the people in the pictures are not looking off the page. I want everybody kind of looking in toward the page or looking at something. And then I decided that I needed more red. And so I pulled out a red gelato and just did a little bit of smudging here and there so you can see little pops of that deeper red in between things, because I am going to wind up using some of the main squeeze alpha, the chipboard thickers, and there is definitely red in there. And so when I add those later, you'll see that it's a whole different kind of red. It's like really, really bright fire engine red. And so I felt like I needed more red. So what I decided to do is put a big heart in all around. You can see the 4 big places there where I added the heart. And I did some more punching with that really pretty exclusive rainbow paper that Kim Watson designed. And I punched right where the pink and the orange kind of go together, blend into each other. And that's the heart I'm going to use there on the left, because I did add some orange to the background. Even though it's very subtle, it's not bright orange. It's more like a golden yellowy orange. It's such a technical term. I'm terrible with describing colors. I did pull out some thread from my stash. I'm going to add in some pink, some of the aqua, and just kind of add that in for a pop of color and a little bit more of a messy whimsy factor. And I have to use that ooh la la piece because, you know, when I think of ooh la la, every time I say that, I'm being sarcastic because I never look ooh la la. I always look messy and sweaty because I'm always at the gym, or, you know, we're in a wind tunnel and your hair is all over the place. Like, we never look fancy. So I was being sarcastic when I put ooh la la because we're so far from that. It's not even funny. We're the most not fancy people ever. So it just made me laugh. So I thought I have to use that. And I love how it looks right there. And some of my quadrants are going to be overlapped. And I think I'm okay with that. You know, I don't want to have to keep everything strictly inside the lines. Like ooh la la is overlapping. The hearts to the right of that middle picture are overlapping. Oh, I'm going so fast I can't even tell you what I'm doing. I glued those little gold hearts down using some sticky dots, and that's a little sheet I have from ThermoWeb, and it's basically an 8.5 by 11 sheet full of teeny tiny sticky dots, and you stick whatever it is right on top of it, and it peels the sticky dots off, and then you stick it down, and it's awesome because the glue was not working, so I had to use something else. I fussy cut You Rock from the Good Vibes crate paper, and I love how that looks in that corner. And then you can see where I added the word crazy, and you see how red that is. So I'm going to wind up adding some more red. These are the Pink Fresh Studio puffy hearts. I added a couple of pink ones and orange ones and blue ones just around the page to add more hearts because you can't have too many little hearts. They're just too cute to not use. And once you use one, you want to use them all. Now, I'm trying to overlap these thickers, and they're chipboard, so you can't really bend them or manipulate them. And so I'm going to add glue just to make sure they don't go anywhere. And I just decided to add the word crazy because we are. And I like the way it looks right there. And I notice now that the C is a little crooked, but you know what? Oh well, it's okay. Crazy things aren't meant to be perfectly straight, right? Here comes more red. This is the My Bleeding Heart again, and again, that's from my stash. We have not gotten that in a kit, but I felt like I needed some deeper red since I had that word crazy up there, and it was very red. And I don't want to have just like one thing that is one color. I like to kind of scatter it around and make sure it's in multiple places. So here's what I do. I take my old school Martha Stewart little teeny tiny heart confetti punch and punch out some red, and I'm going to add little tiny red hearts in a couple places. So at least it picks up on that red color, and it's going to make it not look so just red in one spot. Because I couldn't get the ink to be that bold. I didn't want the ink to be that bold. So I just kind of went subtle with it. And I like the way it looks. The crazy stands out, but yet I think everything else stands out as well. But red is such a bold color, and it's hard to make that subtle. And I love how this is looking. And my voice, oh my goodness, y'all, I'm so sorry. This video is almost over. I sound like I have a frog in my throat. This is, yeah, note to self, stick to nighttime voiceovers. Gold, you know I couldn't make a layout without adding some gold color shine, especially since I got gold going on in a couple different places. But then I got crazy and decided to do a little more stitching. After all that was glued down, big mistake. But I did a little bit of gold, and I stitched the little banner of hearts down. Yeah, note to self, try to do all your stitching before you glue. And I also added some red thread underneath the middle picture there. So it's a little more subtle, but a little more pops of red. And then I thought, where am I going to do my journaling? So I just drew one solid line underneath everything and just did a straight line right underneath and talk about how crazy and goofy we are. And there's the final layout. I know it's busy, there's a lot going on, but I love how it turned out. It was so much fun to do. I love this kind of design. I hope you guys give it a try. And I was just really inspired by that Project Life card. And as soon as this voiceover is finished, I'm going to cough up a lung. So thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the products or the kits, the background, the techniques, anything at all. I will be more than happy to chat with you and answer any questions. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great week.